What's up and what's going on, y'all? This is Alex, Poker with Alex. Welcome to the channel. And just real quick, man, I just wanted to say, there's a couple of things. But just wanted to say this. If you're playing poker, and if you haven't gone through this yet, if you do, when you know it's happening, and you will know, do the right thing. Hit the reset button, stay away, go do something, and, just go back and play when you think the opportunity represents itself in a positive way. When you know your mind is clear, right? And you're not feeling that you're going to have a bad session, right? That you're on your A game. You're not going to be thinking about what took place yesterday, which is, for the most part, what we should always try to not think about anyway. You should always take each day as it comes. But we do have these moments, and that is what we call the downswing. Now, I've talked about that before, but the only reason I'm talking about it again is because a lot of times people may not believe that they're actually on a downswing. If you're a gambler, then it's probably not even going to apply to you, right? If you're a gambler, it's not going to apply to you because gamblers are wild when it comes to poker. When it comes to anything, they're just gamblers, and nothing matters to them as far as the respect of the game of poker in their logic. They just believe in, I got the money, let's go do it. But if you are having that situation where you feel that you are going through something like that, then you're going to have to fight through it, and you're going to have to come back to it when you feel the time is right, because it's a downswing. If you play the game of poker and you're playing the correct way, right, where everything is just, close to being what we call by the book of the game, then that means you are solid. You're a solid player. You're a respectable player. You're respected by your players at the table. They know when they see you coming that they know it's not going to be easy if you sit down with them. You get what I'm saying? These are the ones that actually play the game of poker the way it's supposed to be played. But we do get into a downswing. And when you get into that moment, and trust me, like I said, we all go through it. I've gone through it and didn't even know I was going through it because I was just a person that wanted to go play poker because I wanted to play poker. And, I never looked at it as that. But as I got mature in my years of playing, that is when I realized that downswing is something that's real, right? It's real. No matter what you do, you can have the best hand on the flop, and you can bet it correctly. And like I said, a player, if it's in the air that they're not going anywhere, hey, then they're going to call you. And a lot of times they'll hit exactly what they were looking for. It could be a gut shot. It could be a pair that they have that's not better than yours, but they wind up hitting the river card for a set. You get what I'm saying? So those are the moments when no matter what you do, right, it almost is set in stone that you're not going to walk away with the money. You get what I'm saying? So that's that on the downswing. So basically what I'm getting at on that moment is just saying, when you know for sure that you're not winning, get up from the table, leave the poker house, find something else that can take up your time, right? That you may feel that I can take care of this since I'm going through this bad moment. Because trust me, if you can get money in poker, it's hard. You don't give up. I mean, I'm not talking about responsibility purposes. I'm just talking about stuff you can do around your house that need to get done. And because you've been doing so good on the tables, that you'll put that past and say, you know what, I'll take care of that when I get back. But when you're on a downswing, yeah, you basically say, okay, I'm going to take care of this stuff. Now I'm going to play poker. I'm just going to take care of this stuff now because I'm losing, right? So that is a factor of the game. It's called the downswing. All right, so that's that on that. The other thing is basically when you buy in. I noticed that some players, when they do buy in, and I've been playing poker for years, bro. When I say I've been playing poker for years, I've been playing back since early 2000 when a lot of us got first introduced into WSOP, and we seen that tournament on TV, and we seen this guy win. And that is what it was. We seen that, and we got more and more of viewing it, and we liked it, and then some of us took on to it, and we just started playing. All right, so now I'm back. My ride just came to pick me up, and matter of fact, she had a good game. It's almost like we reversed. She is knocking it out the box, where I am the one now that is being carried, because I'm not hitting anything to be successful. But anyway, the other thing I'm talking about is when it comes to buy-ins. When you are playing in a poker room, right? A lot of times, the one thing you want to do is what I call soldiers. People call them chips, I call them soldiers. So I like to build a fort. And when I do my buy-ins, I usually buy in for 300, because that's what the minimum is that we can buy in for. Or the minimum, and, well, not the minimum, I mean top. That's what you have to start off with when you start fresh on the table. Other than that, you can match chip stacks if you get there late. And if somebody's sitting with $500 or $600, you can buy in for $500 or $600. So you can do that. But when we all first start, it's usually that everybody starts off with 300 and below, whatever you want to buy in for. Which brings me to my point. Sometimes you get players that will buy in for $75, or they'll buy in for $90 or something like that, which is cool, it's great. But you got to remember, when you got players at the table that are holding a large chip count, right, you basically want to set a wall of defense. So that way, if you do get a good hand, right, and if you have somebody sitting at the table, and let's just say they got $500, $600 in front of them, well, if they decide that your 90, or let's just say your 75 is what you're gambling with, and you do have a strong hand, but if you throw that 75 out there, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, that person that's sitting on 500 or 600, right, he's going to probably think about it for a minute, and then he's going to say, you know what, I'll give you action. And trust me, a lot of players do that. So it doesn't mean you're going to lose, but think about it. If you had a certain amount in front of you and it shows strength, that same person, when you betted that amount, he's going to realize that he can lose more if he doesn't have a strong enough hand to actually come in with you, right? Because once the flop hits, and if he misses, he's going to lose that money that he called you with. But if you miss, right, then he's going to win, because it didn't cost him anything for that to happen. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times you see players and they do that. I've seen players come in with $40. I've seen players come in with $50, and they'll just reach back in their pocket. Well, my whole thing is, if you're going to do that, right, if you know you're going to reach back in your pocket, why not just get it over with and put all your chips on the table that you think you're going to play with, right? I'm not saying that you buy in for 300, right, and then why don't you put more on the table? Because that is a good enough number to represent strength on the table. But when you're talking about the 40s, 50s, 60s, or something like that, those are guys that usually they come in and they'll just go all in every time, and they're trying to catch, right? So they're trying to hit the bingo, is what we call it, bingo poker. They're just gambling, and they're coming in trying to hit. And the only thing is, if they do lose, they wind up reaching right back in their pocket. So do we frown upon that? Do we hate it? No. In a way, we welcome it, because if they coming in like that, it ain't costing you anything, right, to see that flop. If they coming in with that amount, it's not costing you anything. So if you got a mediocre hand, but you think you have some strength, calling $40 or $50 isn't going to make or break you. You're going to do that, right? And if you do win, then that is what's going to happen to that 40 or 50. They're going to have to reach back in their pocket and grab out another $40 or $50, and they'll continue doing that. So I always try to practice that buy-in matters when you are sitting at the table. If you get lucky and you just running it up, then you know what, you hitting, congratulations. But a lot of times it almost backfires and that person winds up losing. So, you know, just saying what I see when I'm on the table. And a lot of times I like scratch my head and I'm like, you're coming in with $40 and then you say all in, then you get another $40 out, and then you say all in, you get another $40 out, and you say all in. That's $120 right there that you just gave up. And because you were doing it that way, if you would have just had the whole 120 and you knew you were going to do that, then all you had to do is put in 120, and you'll probably make people fold, and you'll wind up just getting whatever the raise is worth, right? If everybody called 5, that's $40 right there. You go over the top with 120, then you basically just scooped up the board, because 9 times out of 10, everybody's probably going to fold if they trust your game. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, when it comes to the buy-ins, I always think that you should treat it like a military situation where you're coming in with your soldiers and you want to protect the fort. You get what I'm saying? So with that said, I'm out. Y'all be cool. Peace.